So I'm going to record. So hello to everybody. I just started the recording. So, we love that you're listening to the field training calls. These team huddles are a little bit more casual. So we would kind of have a topic, but we want people to sort of pipe in as well. So it's more of like a discussion. So we wanted to talk a little bit tonight about planting seeds and watering seeds and what is the other thing we're talking about?
We're overcoming people's, what's the word?
Objections?
Objections.
Okay. Yeah. And, just a little bit about planting seeds. What we mean by that is when you're in this business for the long term, you're going to be talking to people who are not going to be interested, or it's not the right time, or I don't have the money, whatever those objections are going to be. It's not going to be the right time for everybody. But if you say, okay, and you go away and you never talk to them again, it's going to be like you were trying to sell them on something, right? You want to stay in contact with people, water those seeds. Maybe you spoke to somebody and then maybe, a few weeks later, you give them a month later, call them, hey, how's it going? I know we spoke a month ago and you were really concerned about your back pain and you wanted to lose weight and just wondering, how you doing? We talked about you drinking more water. Have you been able to do that since we spoke last? So you're offering some coaching, even though they're not your client. It's like value added. You don't want to just talk to people to get them on program. We're here to help people. And if we can give somebody a few tidbits, even if you do a health assessment and they say, this is not the time. Okay, how about, here's a few things you can start working on right now. Maybe it's the water. Maybe it's, you talked about how eating at night was your big problem. What if you just worked on tonight, not having that binge after dinner? Maybe you could just do it that one night. Like giving them something to work on. And then when you reach back out to them, maybe a month later, you can ask how that's going. And people really, really appreciate it because they're like, wow, I didn't do her program, but she still cares about me. You see what I'm saying? Has anybody had anybody have an experience with that?
Yeah, and I've reached out to people and they're like, wow, I can't believe you're still talking to me. I figured I wouldn't hear from you anymore. I figured you just wanted to try to get me on that program and that was it. Once I told you I wasn't interested, you probably would stop talking to me. But you still talking to me, you still ask me how my kids are. Right. You remembered my son was sick and
exactly. And Jessica, that's relationship, and that's what this business is about. So, if you never go back and you never reach out to people, you never water those seeds, chances are they're not going to grow. And Alberto, are you able to speak? We don't see your picture and you're muted. I don't know if you're in an environment where you could talk, but if he can't, Albert is an example of somebody who has been planting seeds for, maybe a year, and suddenly his fields are growing. He has just stayed with it. He didn't give up, even though he didn't have maybe a lot of people coming on board, and kept in touch. He watered the seeds. He sent out the newsletters. He lived out loud on Facebook, and his business is flourishing. So hopefully he can hear us, but I would say congratulations for not only planting the seeds, but watering them along the way.
And Janet, I'm going to interject there because I feel like that's what people really need to understand. 5 years in this business with this company, and all I can say is if you don't leave and you continuously if you're consistent with your message of being healthy and being able to help people be healthy, they will eventually come on board. And it's just the persistence. It's the persistence and the consistency. They're waiting to see if you're a one-hit wonder. They're waiting to see if you fall off and move on to something else. And when you don't, it just justifies your I guess your purpose in trying to promote this program. And it makes people realize that you're for real and you're not just gonna go away and try something else. Like this is what you're standing behind.
Well, and I think the one thing about this company is there are people who have been in it for so long. It's not a one hit wonder thing. I've been doing this for 8 years. Jackie, you're around for 5 years. A lot of us here have been in this for a while. And when you listen to leadership and you hear people talking, people, people are in it for the long run. And so that's a great point. And people are watching. And I've had people say to me, I remember initially when I first became a coach, somebody came to me like 2 years after, and she goes, you know why I'm coming to you now? She goes, I watched you and Jeff lose the weight, and I kept watching to wait for you to gain it back, and you didn't, and you're still doing this. So now I'm coming to you. So that's part of that consistency and persistency. So, all right, I'm going to rest my voice, and Jackie, I'm going to turn it over to you a little bit now.
Okay.
And again, let's invite conversation.
Oh, absolutely. And so I basically put a post on Janet's team, and a bunch of you that are on here tonight saw it and commented, and I really wanted to get everybody else's take and not just kind of stand up here and talk about what kind of objections I've heard. So I'm really going to go down the list, and I don't know if anybody, is Alexandria here? No, she's not here. Okay, so I'm just going to go down the list, and I'll say who you are and what your objections that you brought up were, and then I'll tell you how I would overcome those in conversation. And listen, there's not one way, and what I think you're going to understand, and if anybody wants to role play this with me, like if it's your objection and you want to be the one that tells me what the objection is. I see Denise is on here, and she had one. I don't know if you're in a place where you can unmute yourself, Denise, and kind of have a conversation with me. Alberto is on there, Karen. So, I'll ask, and if you want to do it, otherwise I'll just tell you how I would. But what you're really going to see is that I meet objections with questions. And it's about asking questions more than it is about telling somebody why this is a good fit for them. You want to know why they're feeling the way they're feeling, which is why the objection is there. They're feeling something, and it's our job as coaches to uncover what feeling that is and then help them rectify that feeling. Sorry, I have a puppy and he's down here. Help them really just understand why they may be feeling that and overcome it with things that actually apply to them. So if we just walk away from somebody with an objection, we're really not what's the word? I can't believe I'm losing my thought here.
Well, Jackie, let me role play with something, and maybe.
All right, so I'll give you Alexandria's. So Alexandria said, "It sounds great, but I have to think about it." So let's say we're on a call, and
Jackie,
all right, Dennis.
It sounds really good, but I'm going to have to think about it. I have a lot of social things. I go to a lot of happy hours with my friends, and a lot of events where there's eating and drinking. So I'm just going to have to really think about this.
Okay, so basically you just gave me an answer, but sometimes people will just say I have to think about it. But so I would have said, all right, absolutely, this is not something that people go into lightly. It really is about making life changes here. And I just wanted to make sure that you got all the information you needed to make an educated decision on what's next for you. I know that I can help you reach those health goals. I know that this program could work for you. Like we talked about earlier, I think it is X, Y, Z. But really, can I ask what your biggest worry is about going on plan? What your biggest resistance is right now, if there was one thing?
I'm just worried that I'm not going to be able to follow the plan on the weekends when I'm at all my social events.
So I hear exactly what you're saying, and social events can be tricky. What is it about the social events that you think is going to be the toughest part?
I think it's just going to be hard everybody's going to be drinking or having drinks or eating whatever food is there. And I don't want to just stand there and not be eating or drinking and look like an idiot.
So, and I absolutely hear that too. Sometimes it's awkward when we have to make choices when we're at social events, and we don't want to stand out, and we don't want attention drawn to what we're not doing. And I've worked with so many people that have those same worries. And all I can say is that from my experience, we've been able to take those events, one event at a time, and come up with a plan before every single one that helps people get through them. So if you break it down, instead of saying it's not every weekend, it's not all of the time, and you say this might happen at one event or two, I just want you to know that I'm going to be alongside you the whole way to help you come up with an action plan, to help you stay on plan if that's what you truly want.
Well, that sounds really good. Knowing that you'll be there for me and you can help me navigate those events, that really makes a difference. So maybe I could start on a week where I have a whole bunch of days before even, like next weekend, I really don't have anything. So maybe I could start before that.
That's exactly what I like to tell my clients, to really start in a time where you're setting yourself up for success. So I work with you to figure out the best day. I mean, you don't have to order today. If you think that you have a week coming up where there's nothing big going on, where you may be able to avoid it for the first week just to get into the groove of things, that might be the best time. I'm really here to start with you when you are ready to begin and help you come up with a plan for everything that comes in your way.
So what Jackie did was she listened to what the client was saying, and she acknowledged that she understood what they were saying, and she shared that many other people had that same concern. So first she made it very clear that she heard them and she understood them. And then she reassured them that she's going to be there for them and they can work it, a little bit at a time. So I think that was great. Does anybody want to make any comments or questions on that?
I thought that was actually very, very helpful. I'm like listening to that one. I do have one objection that I have found to be a challenging one. So if I could maybe throw it at any of you experts.
Go for it. Well, Ted, I'll ask you as if you're a client, and you just go with it. However, whatever you want to say as the client, you say, and I'll do my best.
Okay, sure. Okay, so I'm a client. So you know what? Well, I know we spoke about this before, and I went on the website, and honestly, I didn't like any of the food on the site. I don't eat any of that stuff.
So when you say you went on the site and you saw the food and you don't eat any of it, can you give me kind of some specifics as to what you don't eat? The snacky kind of foods or the hot kind of foods? I don't know if you saw, but there's about 70 different foods that fit on the 5-in-1 plan.
Yeah, and I kind of had that answer. So I don't like snack bars. I don't like chips. I don't like cookies. I don't like pancakes. I mean, again, I've had 2 or 3 people that basically they didn't like any of it. So
So hang on, Ted. So let's go from there. So
okay,
it sounds to me like you're not really a snacker. So perhaps the 3-in-3 plan might be best for you. Studies have shown that if you eat 6 meals a day, your body is going to process food in a different way, and your metabolism is going to really be revved up. So all 3 of our plans are based on eating 6 meals a day. Is that something that you're willing to do?
That sounds better to me. But now, but then, will I still lose weight?
Ted, I'm gonna keep this simple for you. When you talk to them at the beginning, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
You ask them, how much weight do you want to lose? How's your energy? How do your joints feel? How does your sleep, right? And most people that want to lose 50 pounds say, I sleep horrible, my knees hurt, I hate how my clothes feel, I'd have poor energy, and on a scale of 1 to 10, I want to lose weight 10 out of 10, right? Do you ask them those questions to find out where they're at?
Sorry, I'm having audio issues. What was the last question?
Okay, so whenever I start an Explore call, I ask them, how do your joints feel? How much weight do you want to lose? How's your sleep? How's your energy throughout the day? And most people who want to lose 50 pounds tell me their energy sucks. They sleep like crap. And on a scale of 1 to 10, they want to lose weight 10 out of 10, right? Can you hear me or no?
Yeah, we can hear you.
It's strange, but I did hear you. What I found is that there are some people that they say they want to lose weight, but they don't want to, do the work, or they make excuses about they don't like the variety. And some people eat because they enjoyed the food versus not being hungry anymore.
Yep.
Claire, can you mute yourself?
Yes.
Thank you.
So,
Um,
so
Okay.
no, Matt,
Sorry.
no, and I think
Wait,
what,
Matt was just going to finish with what he was saying, and then, yeah, let's hear you,
so
Jackie.
Ted, when you find out their why, can you hear me?
Yeah, just slightly, yeah.
Is it? Can everybody else hear me? Or is it-
Ted, you need to put your volume up, maybe, I think, because we're having trouble
Yeah.
hearing you, and you're having trouble
Yeah,
hearing us.
I'm on 10. I'm on 10.
Oh, okay, because it's hard to hear you.
All right, I'll try to talk a little louder. When you find out their why,
Uh-huh.
if it's better sleep, losing 50 pounds, and I ask people, I say on a scale of 1 to 10, how bad do you want this? If they say a 7, I will tell them, you're not ready. Don't do it. This plan might not be for you for a couple reasons. Don't waste my time. I could be playing with my kids, right? Rejection sometimes leads to obsession. And the other thing is, I don't want somebody doing the plan if they're not ready. You know, and I say, look, this may or may not be for you. If you only wanted a 7 out of 10, maybe you aren't ready. I mean, but when you are, you know, get back to me. And what we try to do is not focus on the food. We like to focus on our habits and our mindset. The food is delicious. But the other thing is you've never even tried the food, but it sounds like you're really not quite ready yet. And I've told that to many people, you know, because not everybody's going to say yes. And some people will say, you know what, you're right. You weren't ready. Now, I love Jackie as asking questions, but I don't want to talk anybody into this. Like, don't let me talk you into this. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. So anyway,
Yeah.
But Jackie's answer is great. I love it. But I'm not, look, don't let me talk you into this. You know, if you don't want to do it, don't do it, you know?
Right.
yeah, and I think that that's a valid point too, and that's always something that you go back to is, you know, but I don't think we can leave these objections unanswered either. Like, I think we have to acknowledge it so that they know that they're being heard, and then say, with all that being said, you know, if you don't think that there's enough on here to get you started, or you don't think that there's 5 things here that you could eat a day, or you'd be willing to eat a day, then this really might not be the right plan for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the other thing is, I'm just curious, like, when I have a health assessment with people, they're not really like looking at the food or the website. We're really talking about what it is that they want and how this program can help them get it. And it's very rare that they're looking at the site. What I say is, and this usually works, it's not going to work for everybody, but what I say is, you know, so Ted, it sounds like you have a really strong why. You really want to get that 30 pounds off because you want to do X, Y, and Z. It sounds like this program really could be a great fit for you. What we normally would do is I'll get your account set up, and I would order you a variety pack. It's the most popular items. This way you get to try a little bit of everything. If there's anything that you really hate, there is a return policy within 30 days. But unless there's something that you hate, like if you know that you don't eat chocolate or anything in particular, usually the variety pack works best for people. And then the second month, you'll be able to go in and check it and switch it up. How does that sound? 9 times out of 10, that's fine. Sometimes there are people who say, well, I'd really like to look at the food first. And in that case, yes, I would send them to the website and say, look, just pick out blah, blah, blah. But if they say there's nothing I like, I also want to remind them, this is not like normal breakfast, lunch, and dinner eating. These fuelings are the tool that's going to get you to where you want to go in terms of your health. These fuelings are created just for this purpose, and remind them, look, they're made to help you to lose body fat safely, simply, and healthily, as with getting all the nutrition that you need. So I don't want you to think that we're promoting you eating pretzels and brownies and cookies. These are specially formulated fuelings in the form of pretzels and cookies and brownies, but that's not what we're asking you to eat for the rest of your life. We're just saying, let's use this tool so we can get the weight off, get you into that habit of eating every 2 to 3 hours without having to figure it all out yourself. It's done for you. You'll focus on creating that lean and green meal. And then we're going to move you away from eating these fuelings and move you back to all food groups, maybe having 2 or 3 of these a day moving forward. Does that sound like something that you would be able to do?
No, I think those are all great answers, and I think the point that was made about the why, I totally agree that that is the most critical thing because you can I believe most people once they have a very strong why and they know that they need to get healthier, and then they should realize that it involves some sacrifice, and maybe that sacrifice eating some things that you're not really used to just eating all day. And if you're not willing to make that sacrifice, if you just eat for pure pleasure, and there are some people that are like that, they may not be ready to Matt's point. They may not, or it may not be right for them if they're looking for nothing but taste gratification,
Right.
versus the goal of actually kind of getting healthier. I don't know how you get past that.
Well, that's right. I mean, listen, it's not all about the food.
Right.
And
They have
that
to be
is
ready.
hard for people because, people are all about food. So, you can say, are you willing to try it just for 1 month? What we find is that the food kind of loses its importance as you start to feel better and have more energy and discover all these things that you're trying to create. So that could be too. And then, you know what, if it's not for them, can I put you on my newsletter? Can I stay in touch with you? Can I give you a couple of tips moving forward if you're not coming on program now? Can you work on this, that, and the other? And then don't forget about them. Reach out again and say, so how's it going since we spoke last? Or they say, maybe I'm gonna work on it on my own. Awesome. Start drinking 64 ounces of water. See if you could start eating a little more often. I'll check in on you in a month. Is that okay? And meanwhile, I'll send you my newsletter. Great recipes. You can use those.
Okay. Great.
Mind if I say something on this point?
Yeah.
Just anecdotally, I wouldn't say this to someone in a health assessment, but just FYI, I'm not sure how long you've been coaching, Ted, but like I've had people go through and like, oh my goodness, there's so much sweet stuff. I don't eat that kind of food. I don't think that's going to work for me. And I point them to heartier feelings. But those same people will go on to be like, oh my gosh, the caramel bar, the s'mores bar, those are the best. And those are the few feelings that are even a little on the sweet side for me. And I love my sweets. So, it's all kind of preconceptions. And so what I personally do is then I redirect to Fuelings as tools and how much they want to lose the weight. And it's like Janet said, it's not forever. It's something that you're doing temporarily. And then you probably have already talked to them about what they're eating already. And you say, well, I heard you say that you eat, sometimes you eat out of a vending machine at around 3 p.m. because you get pretty hungry. Well, you would just replace that with one of our Fuelings. So things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And that I think just comes from experience, right, Karen? Like it's just going to be the more you talk to people, the more you're going to listen for the things they're saying and understand where you can interject the positives. You're looking for, that's why we don't just come out and tell people about our program, because we don't really know what they're looking for in a program. So we want to listen to everything that they're looking for in a program and then match our program to those things. As the way to solve their problems, right? They told you, we asked you how you got here, why you're calling us today, or why today is the day. We asked them what they're looking to achieve. We asked them what's worked for them in the past. Those 3 questions are going to give you all of the information you need to know which points about our program are going to be your talking points when you start speaking. So we ask them all these questions, we get the information, we thank them for being open and honest with us, and then we say, I really think I have a plan that's going to work for you, and this is why. And we match those whys to what they told us they were looking for.
And then people feel very heard when you can do it that way. When you can match something that they said to what our program has, they know that you've listened. So if you say, like, I know you told me you have trouble eating every 3 hours, or you go long hours without eating because you don't have much time to eat. Well, with this plan, these Fuelings are going to take you literally like 2 minutes to eat. So that's going to work in really well with your busy schedule. And now that they know that you heard them, and that's what this coaching is about. People want to be heard. That's the thing that's so special about our program. Having a coach, having someone who's listening to you, having someone who's linking arms with you and walking the journey with you. So you don't want to be just telling them what to do. You want to be asking them questions and letting them come up with things and really feeling heard.
Janet, I don't know how long you want to go with this. The other ones that came up a lot were cost. which we can touch on briefly, the taste of the food, which we just did, the return policy, weekends, which we touched on, family events, cravings,
So
the packaged food.
let's just have, I know Albert wanted to say something and Jess wanted to say something. So let's just, Jess, what did you want to say?
Well, I was gonna ask too, because I've been having a really hard time with since I became a coach. I've been trying really hard, and I know a lot of it is because I moved around a lot, and I know for a while I tried maybe too hard, and I was doing a lot of talking and not listening maybe for a while, and I've tried to stop that and tried listening more and everything. And so now I'm not really doing a lot of that. So now I'm not sharing anymore. Now I'm just listening and just basically not saying anything, just letting people, you know, a lot of people now are just letting me, you know, they're letting me like leave my flyers and put business cards, and everybody's like asking me questions, which I'm glad for. But a lot of it is the social media. I'm getting a lot of new friends, so a lot of people requesting my friendship, which I'm glad for, and I'm, you know, doing the posts and everything, doing the 333, and I'm doing all of that, and I'm planting the seeds. But a lot of people are asking me stuff, and I'm doing a lot of assessments, but everybody's complaining about the cost. So all the assessments I'm doing, everybody's complaining about cost.
So Jackie, do you want to address that? And then
Yeah,
Albert,
I'll talk to cost. So just a lot of times what I have found is that people, if we are speaking about cost in a way, in a certain way, it kind of brings up the cost. Like, it's how a lot of times we approach the cost because we have conceptions about the cost. Like, do you think that the program is expensive personally?
Well, I tell them that, you know, well, you got to think about it, that you're replacing it with your groceries, you know, so whatever groceries you're spending, you're replacing it with your food costs, you know.
So when the cost comes up, is it coming up very early on in the conversation? Like, the way I do it, when I open it up to questions, the whole why has been established. I've already matched it to their needs. I've already told them why I think it's going to help them. And then I'll say, do you have any other questions? And usually the other question is, yeah, how much does it cost? I mean, that is what everybody says because we've covered everything else. So I will say, well, the first month is about $356. Does that sound doable to you? And I'll say, no, the first month is $356, and that's the price for the 5 meals that come from us, and then you do the 1 meal on your own. Does that sound reasonable to you? And they'll say, yeah. Like, most people will say, oh yeah, that's much cheaper than I thought it was. Or they'll say, yeah, that's only like $10 a day, or I thought it was going to be so much more. Or do I have to pay for your coaching in addition to that? So if you're asking it, if you leave it to be the last, if you don't bring it up and you tell them everything else they need to know about it, they're going to ask that question at the end.
Well, so that's what I do. I leave it to the end. I mean, a lot of times, you know, I wait until I know that they're like, you know, really ready that I think that they're really gonna do it, and I'll leave it till then to tell them. And then once I tell them, they're like, "What? Are you serious that much?" And then I'm like, "Oh." Then I know that they're not.
No, but then your next question should
like,
be,
I have to talk to my husband, or I have to do this, and I'll get back to you. And then I don't hear from them, you know, but I have their email address and stuff, and I'll send them newsletters, you know, and then, you know, I'll reach back to them in a week and touch base from time to time. And
so they're understanding that for $356, they're getting a month's worth of 5 fuelings a day, and they're getting a personal health coach, and they're getting webinars. I mean, what did they think it would cost? I think people a lot of times are surprised, like, oh, that's not like all that for that.
No, I know. I think.
And listen, some people, it's a lot of money for, and I absolutely understand. I really do. But I would say these are my 2 points that I made to this. Number one, if they reveal to you that they're already eating healthy, in the question part. There's two people. There's people that are not eating healthy. Well, there's really three. There are people that are not eating at all, which this is going to be a huge cost to them. There are people that are eating healthy, which the piece to talk to about that is, well, you already told me that you eat really healthy. I know from experience that a bag of organic chips from the health food aisle is about $6. So how long does that bag last you? Like that, those are the things that I use. I know that organic produce is a lot of money. I know that eating lean proteins costs a lot of money. So I talk to those things. The healthy people, I talk to how much they're spending already. And then I interject that when my husband and I did the program together, and we were eating very healthy foods before, but we ate everything really healthy, and that's expensive. And when we both did the program together, we saved $500 on our Sam's bill, just on our Sam's bill. So that's a huge savings for two people. And it's because
started, they went from eating a whole bag of Reese's the night before the program.
Right, like how much did that cost? And then people that are eating unhealthy, you ask them, well, how much do you think you spend on snacks every day? Or from the vending machine. I heard you say a lot that you go to the convenience store or the coffee shop. What do you think you're spending? So you have to find the things that they said. That's why the questions are so important in the beginning. Because if you don't have that information from the beginning questions of the health assessment, and you don't really allow them to open up to you about why they're really here and what has worked before and what hasn't worked before, you're not going to have the information to rebut any of these objections, because you're just left scrambling at that point. But if you really listened, like I take notes while I'm on the phone. I take notes on my Word document. I'm typing because I type faster than I write. And as I'm taking them, I am writing down all these things. These are called pain points. When your client shares something with you about their struggles in the past, or about the things they're looking to overcome, they're called pain points. And we want to be able to address the pain points when we share what we're offering. So you have to be able to bring back up the pain point when the objection comes. If the objection is money, the pain point of I'm going to Wawa 3 times a day because I'm on the run is the one you got to go to. Well, you told me you go to Wawa because you're on the run all day, and I know that adds up pretty much. Now you're going to have foods that are convenient for you. You're not going to have to run to Wawa, and you're going to save all that money. So really, it's cost neutral, and then you leave it there.
Yeah, you don't want to try to.
Those things don't come up. Like sometimes, those things don't come up. So
then I challenge you to go deeper in those health assessments into why they're there. My first question is, what brings you to me today? Tell me why right now is the time you made this phone call. And usually they will unload their whole story in that question. And you just have to be listening enough to grab those pain points.
And then you also don't want to try to convince them to do it. You don't want to try to get into an argument to try to talk people into it, because that's always, they're never going to come back to you if it goes there. So you have to appreciate, maybe this isn't for you, or maybe this isn't the right time. Can I add you to my newsletter? I'm here for you when you're ready. And you want to, end it in a very amicable way. And Albert I wanted Albert to be able to, because he raised his hand, or now he lowered his hand. But Albert,
I'm okay. I'm good.
Sorry, Albert.
Go ahead, Albert.
Oh no, it's okay. No, I'll give points. I'll give points, guys. I'm just enjoying the conversation.
I thought you wanted to share something.
Oh yeah, no, I forgot what it was.
Okay.
It's probably been covered. Thank you.
Well, but Albert, did you want to, I was talking before about how you were planting seeds for a very long time, and it seemed like nothing was growing. And then all of a sudden, your seeds started to grow. So would you like to just touch on that, on what changed?
No, I'm laughing because I can laugh at myself that I may have the lowest batting percentage in all of Optavia. I swear, I think I've gone 20 in a row and not one sign up. And so that's my pain point right there. So I don't know, maybe with a little bit of delirium, it's like keep planting seeds, toss them in the wind, and just accepting just whatever it's going to be. I realize I'm shaping this a lot, and so I really like the points that everyone's brought up. Off the top of my head, something Matt said. Just find. I think that's what Jackie's talking about. The pain points, like do your knees hurt? What's driving you right now? So trying to find out where they are, and then where do you want to be? Okay, great. And I try to focus on that as much as possible. Where do you want to be? What would be the next step to get there? And so in my conversation, I'm like, if I blow this, I don't care. I'm going to learn something from it. And that'll be the next step to get there. I make it more about my journey. I know it's supposed to be about them, be more interested and interesting. But when I find myself kind of going to a place where, this is going nowhere, I'm like, I'm not coming out of here empty-handed. I'm going to come out of here. If I mess up, I'm going to learn from that mistake. So
I think what you're
that's
saying,
probably what's turned for me.
Are you saying that you go into a health assessment now without expecting an outcome? Like you're not attached to the outcome.
I am attached to coming out with something for me. I don't come out empty-handed. I'm gonna
learn from it.
Something about this friend. I'm gonna value this person differently. I'm going to learn about myself. I'm going to remember some talking point that may come up later in the notes, and I'll circle it. And don't worry, we'll come back to this maybe a year from now. And yeah, it is planting seeds. I don't know how else to put it without getting all like it's a great act of faith. It really is. And I'm just gonna keep going. And even this month, I'm like, I can be like, oh man, I've already like got 6 or 7 people who said they're not gonna sign up again. There goes executive director. It was nice while it lasted, all 1 month, all 2 seconds.
Well, I think what you've learned over the year is that you just keep going and you keep sharing, and there are seasons where people are going to come on and seasons where they're not, but it's just continuing to share the gift that we have. So anyway, it's 9:44, so we went a little bit over, but I think these team huddles are valuable. I hope that you guys do too. Any last thing that anyone wants to say? Jackie, did I cut you off before?
No, it's fine. I'm gonna and I don't know if anybody else wants to do this, but I wrote down responses to all the things that people posted on the Janet's team, just as an example of what I would say. And I'm happy to maybe all of us can do that. If there's something that you think you would say to those objections, and I wrote it up. So I'm just going to post them under them so that you can see. And listen, this is not like we're all sharing all different ways of approaching the situations. And we can say all these things that we would say, but we don't really know what we would say until after we hear what the client has to say. So it's all relative, and it's all subjective to what information we're able to get from them. And the more information you can get, the more closely you can tie the program to their needs. And I am the first one to say this program is not for everyone. It isn't. But you don't want to leave people with objections that went unanswered. So validate their feelings, validate their objections, let them know other people have felt the same way, and this is how they overcame that, and leave the conversation there, because that's in a good place. If you leave the conversation on their objective, they may never come back because you didn't answer it. You didn't answer the reason why they weren't doing it. And that's the uncomfortable piece for a lot of people. You don't want to be selling. That's like the line, right? Like we don't want to be pushing. We don't want to drag someone along, but we want to be able to give them accurate information so that they can make the best decision for them. And if we don't answer their objections, they don't really have the full picture.
Good. Well, thank you. And thanks everybody for coming and listening, and just go back on Janet's team. We'll post this. We'll post the other training. Always be checking there for updates.
Okay. All righty.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you.